channel.
One has a long, bitter rivalry with a rodent and a few turtles, and another one believes he is destined to be the dragon warrior. Who's gonna win? Welcome everyone to another episode of the Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you guys can do. You can share, you can like, or you can subscribe to our channel. When you guys subscribe to our channel, you know what you do. You guys are building our empire and allowing us to provide you guys with even much more greater content for you guys to enjoy. And I do want to apologize. I had to take a shower, so my hair, I'm putting it down today. So, you know. And yeah, let's just move on from that. Anyways, today we're putting another episode out for the fans. Do apologize for the background. Next month in May, we're going to be having a big, huge, event. So look forward to that. I'll have my background then. For now, just keeping it to this. But let's just get things started. So, let's talk about who we're going to be having in this Beatdown episode today. All right, let's kick things off with on this corner. He has a one-stop pressure point blow that is legendary, defeating his own master and the Furious Five at once. Hailing from the Kung Fu Panda realm, the one who thinks he should be the Dragon Warrior, Tai Lung. Alright, let's get into the end game, how I believe Tai Lung would defeat Shredder. Okay, so let's start off with the fact that Tai Lung was so menacing that he was able to defeat his own master, who trained the Dragon Warrior. Okay, so if he was able to defeat his own master in a one-on-one combat, I do believe it's safe to say that he might have the one-up on Shredder. Now, Shredder, I don't believe has ever defeated his master, so to speak. I'm not really sure. I'm not familiar with the comics and the whole series. It's just based on the Nickelodeon animated series first season, so I can only base whatever I know. By the way, as far as, you want to know about powers, abilities, and feats, and you want to know about the brief origins, I'm going to put it down in the description below, but I already put those videos out. Anyways, moving back to it. So, my argument being this, is that Shredder has been defeated by Master Splinter a few times in the show. So, and yeah, he might have almost beat him, but at the end he still got beaten. With Tai Lung actually beat Master Shifu. He also defeated the Furious Five at one point, and on top of that, he held his own against the Dragon Warrior. Maybe it wasn't a really fair fight in some essence, or he had obviously gotten beaten and upper-handed by Poe, but still at the end he still was pretty impressive. Even when he came back, he still kind of made an entrance coming back into the realm. Now, that being said, let's talk about that pressure point one strike blow he can do. Now, granted, Shredder does have some suit of armor, but let's say you strip that armor off and he nails you with that pressure point technique, one blow, it's over. Like, Shredder is strong, but a pressure point technique that he can nail you with one blow, it's got to go somewhere. On top of that, don't forget, Tai Lung is still, animal and half hybrid in the sense, like, he's, he could obviously talk and everything like that, but he's also still animalistic, which means he still has those reflexes, he still has the speed, he still has a lot of things going from strength too. He was pretty strong, if you remember in the scene in the movie where he lifted up a boulder and kicked it towards Master Shifu. So he has done some impressive feats to be able to show that he'd be able to actually give Shredder a run for his money, considering his reflexes are incredibly fast. If you saw him, remember that moment when the dynamites were about to blow up on strapped to the one of those strapped to the cave. He managed to go super fast enough to take that dynamite off and throw it at the Rhino's guards. So he is pretty damn fast. Don't get it twisted. And those pressure point blows are dangerous. And his strength has shown time and time again. Alright, now another thing is that Tai Lung, remember, he was trapped in prison for a very, very long time. He had some heavy boulders holding him down and everything like that. For him to get released, they had to stretch for a second and then manage to outwit an entire army of guards, Rhino guards, and managed to get all the way to the top, to the entrance or the exit, to the prison. That's saying something. I mean, the guy moved incredible speed. You saw how he escaped. He had to jump a lot of great heights and everything like that in order to accomplish it. And he was locked up for a long time. Now, maybe Shredder is impressive, but imagine if both were locked up in chains and stuff like that, and they met each other, and then they finally got released. Most likely, Tai Lung is gonna beat that dude, because Shredder, you know, obviously he's still human. He's gonna need to stretch out a little bit. Now, another thing we have to mention is the environment situation. Shredder is damn near pretty strong, and he's impressive, and he's a very skilled fighter, but Tai Lung has the environment to his favor more because he's capable of adapting to different places. He can go an extra mile in other environments compared to Shredder. Like, he can probably do better in a jungle environment compared to Shredder. He could probably do better in cities compared to Shredder because Tai Lung is able to climb buildings and all that stuff. On top of that, he is able to use his animal instincts to help him out in this situation to adapt to an environment. On top of, again, you've seen him in his kung fu mastery, along with being able, his reflexes. He's incredible. So yeah, combining all of these together, you got speed in order to probably take off his armor. You got strength in order to throw something giant at Shredder that might be overwhelming enough for him not to be able to handle it or dish it out. And you have that special point, one blow pressure point technique that might just give Tai Lung the W on this end. All right, now let's talk about the next one on this corner. And on this corner, we have his armor that is considered unbreakable, defeating the turtles in his first encounter and dodging alien beams from the sky. Hailing from the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle television series realm, Oroku Saki, aka the Shredder. Alright, let's talk about the end game, how the Shredder would defeat Tai Lung. Okay, so let's start off right off the bat. The Shredder's weaponry and armory is something nothing to scoff at, and it's going to be something that's going to keep him in the fight during against a character like Tai Lung, since Tai Lung does have a lot going for him. Shredder's best asset is going to be his armor and his weaponry. Now, those blades that he has attached to him, they always come in handy, especially since Tai Lung is impressive of a fighter, but he also is still capable of bleeding in a fight. And another thing is that Shredder's armor is not that easy to kind of penetrate. So yeah, he could throw a couple blows here and there, but Shredder's going to be able to like kind of brush it off and keep going into the fight against Tai Lung in this situation. Another thing to remember is that in the animated series, he dodged a laser beam. Okay, Tai Lung is fast, but a laser beam? I mean, come on. He also took a hit from a spacecraft. Okay, Tai Lung is impressive, but he never took a hit from anything that big before, like a giant building or some giant mountaintop falling on him. Nothing like an avalanche, nothing like that. But with the Shredder, that's not the case. Shredder actually took a hit from a spacecraft and lived to tell the tale and survived it. So it's safe to say that yes, the Shredder, when it comes to, let's say it's a hypothetical situation between Tai Lung and Shredder, and the buildings were collapsing around them, and you need to know whether or not they were going to be able to survive getting hit by certain things left and right. Tai Lung might be able to dodge a few things, but if the giant enough thing happens to wind up hitting him, ramming him, he's not going to be able to handle that kind of punishment. If you've seen him get defeated by Poe, who literally didn't do much to do that, but with Shredder, he can take that hit and come back up from it. So if he were to get back up in a fight, and let's say Tai Lung had to take a minute, the Shredder would be able to take advantage of that and get the upper hand in that way. Pain tolerance and skill set. Yes, Tai Lung was able to defeat the Furious Five. But Shredder's got probably a bit more of a skill set in that way, because he defeated turtles who were mutated. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, what does that mean? Well, they're not only martial art experts, they were also turtles. I mean, they have mutated strength and all that stuff. They're not just regular, ordinary turtles that move slow and stuff. They obviously can move with speed and reflexes and strength. So for Shredder to defeat 4 of those guys, that says something. You gotta say that's gotta be a flex. And another thing is the pain tolerance. Tai Lung doesn't really do a lot of punishment throughout the whole movie. Fourth one or the first one, I mean, when he gets taken from the chameleon, that's one thing, but as far as anything else, yeah, he hasn't really shown how much pain he can handle. I mean, he can get it to an escape, but he's never actually had something land on him and stuff like that. And the only pain he ever really had to deal with was facing Poe. But with Shredder's pain tolerance is really up there, considering he fought the turtles, took a couple a couple hits from them, a couple blows from them, and also took a couple blows from Master Splinter. So it's safe to say that Shredder can dish out what he can take. Alright, so to make my final point, the Shredder, I would say that he wouldn't need to really come to Tai Lung. Tai Lung would much more likely come to him, and that gives Shredder the advantage. Now, Shredder doesn't need to do a lot of movement. He just needs to let Tai Lung kind of play the whole taunting game, because Shredder is an impressive skilled fighter. All he needs to do is stand his ground, and he'd probably be able to out martial art Tai Lung at some point, considering the Shredder has fought some masters, and he's actually the top tier in his realm compared to Tai Lung, who's considered second best compared to Po. So in a fight against Shredder, he might go up close and personal. That gives Shredder much more of an advantage. His armor, his weaponry, his skill set is much more of an advantage compared to Tai Lung's speed and reflex, because at some point he could just break an arm or pin him down for a moment and then just nail him with one of the claws. Either way, at some point he can even cut little parts of him while he's fighting him. Either way, an up close battle gives Shredder the advantage to claim the W on this end. But as always, No Press fam, it's not up to me. It's up to you guys. So if you liked either one of my arguments, you know what you can do? You can hashtag the Shredder, or you can hashtag Tai Lung. And as always, No Press fam, we really appreciate you guys keeping it 400 subs. Peace.